Joseph Leo Abbott, Jr. was born on April 13, 1953, to Dr. and Mrs. Joseph L. Abbott, Sr., a sibling to sisters Eva and Teresa, and brothers Lou, Andy, and Bill.
You know, in all the years that I've worked in the treatment plants and with the guys in the collection systems, our worst day was the day that somebody told us we had to use a pump.
Though Joe revealed very little of his younger days to his colleagues, legend has it that he gave private schooling a good run for its money. Joe eventually earned a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting from St. Joseph's University. But life changed drastically for Joe when he met Stephanie Rare, whom he wed and with whom he shared children Molly, JJ, and Megan. Says wife Stephanie, "I was lucky to be his wife for over 29 years, but privileged to be his best friend for over 30 years. I knew I could reach out and he would respond compassionately and without hesitation." James D. Miles said, "You can easily judge the character of a man by how he treats those who can do nothing for him." Every person Joe met was treated the same way. You received a warm smile, a kind word, and a generous spirit. He was trusting, kind, and loyal, at times to a fault. He lived his life the way we all should aspire. Friend to many and enemy to none, Joe joined the Godwin Pumps team in 1989 as national sales manager, bringing sales and manufacturing expertise with products made specifically for the sewer rehabilitation industry. In the ensuing 20 years, Joe served as Godwin's primary sales contact for consulting engineers, working on hundreds of large and small bypass operations pumping process sewers, as well as municipal treatment plants, pump stations, and sewer systems. Armed with a station wagon filled with accessories and with a 6-inch pump in tow, Joe earned the nickname of Showy Joey for introducing the concept of tow and show to Godwin and building working relationships from the ground level. Says son JJ,
"He was a great social being, and I never met or saw anyone who could work a room like him. Professionally, my dad was a white-collar guy with a blue-collar heart. Some of you described him as a giant of the industry, but also the guy who'd much rather have a cup of coffee and a cigarette in the shop lounge than anywhere else. He was driven and hardworking, even at times to his physical and mental detriment. But above all that, he, first and foremost, cared about what he did, and even more so, about the people he did it with. He wanted to be the best at what he did as much as anyone. But he did it the right way, and always with style and grace. He possessed a unique understanding of the human impact of his actions and his decisions. I saw this in how he took great pride in logging long hours at work to not only provide more for our family, but also positively impact those in his Godwin family as well."
Joe played an instrumental role in the development of Godwin's marketing and sales efforts, not the least of which included his activities in professional organizations across the country, including Independent Liquid Terminals Association, International Pipe Bursting Association, American Rental Association, Inc., Associated Equipment Manufacturers, Water Environment Association, Utility and Trans Contractors Association, National Rural Water Association, and the National Mining Association. He was a member of NASTT for more than 20 years and served on the board of directors for NASTT at the time of his passing. Joe was a favored speaker at industry conferences and continued to refine his knowledge of his craft through technology and the relationships he built that took him all over the world, including Mongolia. Still, all of Joe's professional accomplishments truly paled in comparison to the pride he took in his children. That admiration was equally returned. Says daughter Megan,
"John Senior once said, 'It was admirable for a man to take his son fishing, but there is a special place in heaven for the father who takes his daughter shopping.' My dad did both, and I certainly hope he earned that spot in heaven for his many shopping adventures with Molly and I. I will forever miss his simple smile and shrug of his shoulders whenever he agreed to something we wanted, as if it was no big deal, no matter the price."
Joe extended his generosity to his friends and co-workers and was as giving of his knowledge as he was of his time.
Certain discharge permit that stipulated where he had to put the water. And in this case, we've got to move.
Said a co-worker, Joe was always the calm and collected voice of reason. You could call Joe in a frenzy or a panic for something, and he could recognize it in your voice. He had a knack for telling a well-timed story or relating a similar adventure in his many years of industry battles that by the end You had forgotten the plight you started in. For the younger generation like myself, those people who have both knowledge and compassion are few and far between. Joe's wisdom, knowledge, and leadership will be missed by us all, but he'll never be forgotten in what he taught us about being successful in work and life. There are many words to describe Joe Abbott: son, husband, father, friend, colleague, loyal, caring, charming, and smart. All these thoughts are captured in what Joe embodied. He was a gentleman. George Bernard Shaw once said, "A gentleman is one who puts more into the world than he takes out." On September 12, 2010, our world lost one of its finest and truest gentlemen. We will be forever grateful for the mark that he left, and forever in awe of the graceful way he carried himself to the very end.